Hello, I'm Tamara Gaines, and I'm the host of MPItv. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Heather Bailey on the topic of event budgets. So, Heather, thank you so much for being with us today. Tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm with MCNA. I'm our Vice President of Operations. We're a destination management company based in Hawaii, but serving nationally. We've been with the company for just about 10 years now, a baby with the company because many of our team members have been with the company for decades or more.
Great. And so, what has your engagement related to event budgets been?
Well, I focus on our group operations team. So we are servicing clients from all over the globe who are planning their incentive programs, product launches, sales kickoff, all sorts of different programs in Hawaii. So I'm focused on Hawaii.
Great. What trends are you seeing right now with event budgets?
It's a little challenging out there. We've certainly seen some tightening of budgets, definitely a focus on the spend, where it's being spent, how they can get the greatest impact for the smallest dollar.
And what are some of the things that you're doing to create that impact?
So we really have to focus on the experience that the attendees will have. Whether it is deciding if that floral centerpiece is really going to be the thing that they take away from the event, or is it the engaging entertainment? We want to make sure that when we're spending the client's dollars, that we're really creating a memorable and engaging experience for their attendees.
And how much are they leaning into you as a partner to help with that budget, or are they coming to the table with a budget?
A little bit of both. Some of the more challenging clients, there is no budget, but there is always a budget. So we try to give them some information about what typical events look like and what the spend would look like. I have budget A or budget B, and which fits more in line with your overall program spend. Those who come to us with a budget, you might think it's a little bit easier, but a lot of people do want the champagne experience on the light beer budget.
Absolutely. I can relate to that for sure. With so much uncertainty in our industry and quite frankly the world right now, what are you seeing in the near future as it relates to event budgets?
Flexibility. It's really important. There are a lot of things going on that impact the cost of doing events, whether it starts with the cost of the raw supplies to build the event, all the way up to the staffing and the labor. That's a huge part of the cost of what we do. And being able to think about what might happen so that I can adjust if there are unexpected increases in cost, things are suddenly unavailable. Being able to have that plan B is always really important to our clients.
Yeah, I would imagine the communication between you and the clients is really important in that arena as well.
Absolutely. As soon as we get any indication that there is uncertainty about what might be available or what might not, or all of a sudden this just is not going to fit into your budget, being forthright with that communication with a client is always much more successful than just trying to figure it out.
Exactly. So what are some tips that you might share with meeting professionals on things that we can do to work with those tight budgets?
To be transparent. For us to understand what your end goal is, what your expectations and what you're trying to accomplish with that event, knowing that up front is very important to us. We hate to focus on something that really isn't the make or break for your event. If we know where you want to end up, if we know what that experience looks like in your mind, it helps us to craft that within the budget that you're working with. It's really difficult when somebody can't communicate to us what they're looking for. Even if they can just give us an idea or a vision, that helps to put us on the path to collaborate with them to create a great event.
Yeah. Can you think of some specific examples of things that you've done to trim a budget?
Yeah, so decor is always a big spend. And there are times when flowers aren't in the budget. So being creative about something that can be used that is visually impactful. It might be a lit centerpiece that's a single centerpiece. surrounded by greenery. That could be less expensive than a floral. We also see a lot of clients asking for us to work with them on reusing centerpieces throughout the event. So they may have a fabulous welcome reception, and we just repurpose the florals for breakfast. Sometimes that's really helpful. And then being thoughtful about other elements like lighting is very impactful and sometimes can reduce the amount of decor that you need for an event because you can highlight the natural spaces that you're working in.
Yeah. Are you seeing any opportunity for budget savings in the F&B area with regard to food and beverage?
Food and beverage is very difficult right now. Costs for everything have been going up. So when we're doing events off-site and we're working with our caterers, we might be looking for something more local or thinking about how much food do we actually need, or is everyone going to want to sit down and eat a full meal? Perhaps grazing stations make more sense. So that thoughtful menu planning with a client can really help to manage that food and beverage budget when it's started to balloon out of control all over the place.
So you mentioned earlier about working with some tighter timelines. How does that impact the budget?
It makes it a lot harder to do things on a lesser budget when you're working under a tight timeline. For us to manage a client's budget, having decisions made earlier allows us to source much more quickly and lock in pricing.
Yeah, what's that adage? You can have quick, you can have fast, or you can have good, but you can't have all three.
Exactly.
Sounds very much like it fits into that as well.
It does, it does.
So how are you ensuring the client satisfaction when they're working on a tight budget?
Collaborating with the client to understand what is the most important thing to take away from that event always helps us to spend their budget wisely. Knowing that, then we're going to focus our efforts in on creating that experience that's going to meet those expectations.
Yeah. And is there anything in your experience, whether it's been your spend or on behalf of a client, that you've just thought, wow, that was a lot of money and didn't really make the impact that we were looking for?
Yes. There are times when a client's going down a path and they have their mindset on an element of the experience that just doesn't make sense with the spend, whether it's just such a brief experience. I think about sometimes when we're doing events at an offsite and they've seen a picture of really fabulous lighting of the venue, but they're going to arrive when it's still light out. I steer them away from that because the spend there for that amount of amazing lighting will be lost on their attendees. And I try to take that budget then and spend it elsewhere where it's going to be more impactful.
Yeah, I imagine that would be the case too if it's a short period of time. Like you wouldn't want to spend a certain amount of money for 1 hour. How do you scale that to be appropriate to the time as well?
Exactly. We have clients who may be doing a brief reception before the actual big event. Usually the money, we don't like to spend it on a ton of centerpieces or decor because they're there for such a brief amount of time. So the dollars to put them into the walk-in experience and the actual evening experience makes much more sense.
Yeah. If you were directing someone where to put the bulk of their budget, whether it be audiovisual or food and beverage or entertainment, do you lean toward one particular feature over another?
2, lighting and entertainment. Those will always make an event amazing. You can do so much with lighting that doesn't require a ton of decor or props or build, and then adding on and layering in the entertainment to that, whether it's the entertainment that's on stage or the entertainment that's walking around the event venue, makes a wow experience.
I like that. That's a great example. Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
Thanks for tuning in to MPI Today and joining me and my guest, Heather Bailey, talking about event budgets. Stay tuned for more great conversations. I look forward to seeing you again.